kind of always want to exude that
Well,
unlimited
you
potential.
sound like you love coaching.
Well, I always refer to, yeah, I do. I always kind of, it's not a power trip for me, but you're disseminating information to people, and they're like hungry little birds in a nest. They're gobbling up information, and I always find when people have this voracious feeling, about getting better, and I see their passion, that heightens mine. So yes, I do. I like the teaching, coaching part of it. It's always, I've never gotten tired of it. And there are days when like I have my group in the morning tomorrow, and the weather's going to be great, which is nice. And we're trying to work with COVID. It's now down to 10 people. So I got to split the group and wiggle all of that. And, but at the end of the day, they talk about it. And, when I see them just, blowing a valve where they're working really, really hard, I think, this is awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Is it just swimming, or are you coaching the 3 sports with them?
Well, I have my run group tomorrow. Some of those people swim as well. And then Thursday, I used to have a 75-minute squad, and I did it twice a week. And then a few years back, I did it 4 times. So now I just have an hour, and it's not my choice. It's the management's choice, because everything's been shelved and put back on the burners for COVID.
Can I ask you just one last question? What do you think the 3 others brought to the sport? Let's start with Mark. What do you think Mark brought to the sport?
Well, Mark had sort of this, kind of hidden calmness on the outside. You could never really deflect, oh, he's tired, he's straining. He really had kind of a poker face, and that was kind of his gift. That there were many, many times, and even when I raced him, where he wouldn't show anything on the surface, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking of Ironman in 1984. He started to walk, and he had difficulty other times. So I think Mark, all of them had kind of the golden gift. It was ironic at one time to just dig down as deep as they possibly could in a race, and they just had this fearless, relentless attitude that I'm not going to get beaten. And Mark had just an historic career, really the best of all of us at all distances, and was able to, and I think he focused on a fewer number of races, did very well in those, and his career, you can look at his results. He's did extremely well.
Did you know the 2 others well enough to tell me what you think they influenced? Like Scott?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we collided at so many races.
I know, but I don't know if you guys were like friends.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have this picture, Gail. This is really funny. My mom, she's deceased about 7 years ago, but and I'm not exaggerating this. She cut out every clipping, every magazine, every article. But it was also with the Big Four, and a lot of times we were together because that was the story back then. And she started doing this when I was like in middle school, because I was an athlete when I was in high school and college and so on. And much to my 2 sisters' chagrin, I think I probably have, I'm thinking of my closet upstairs, I probably have maybe 40 scrapbooks.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I mean, just on the 1980 Ironman, I have 2 scrapbooks just on that race.
Wow.
So every year, so it's become a pretty cool archive, and I've shared some with folks like you. I mean, it's remarkable because there's pictures. So anyway, with Scott Tinley had kind of an aloofness about him, and I think a lot of people would say, oh, it was sort of an arrogance, and he was sort of in your face. Like you'd come into, he had sort of a cockiness that I think it drove a lot of the competitors mad. It bugged me at times where I think, well, how can you do that? We haven't raced yet. So how can you have this sort of air to you, 2 days before the race? But I'm sure they would say probably the reciprocal side. Oh, Dave Scott had that, the cockiness to him. But Scott had that. And Scott was very flamboyant. He he had a lifestyle that he liked to perpetuate. Like he was kind of a hang loose kind of guy, and if there was a new clothing scheme, he would wear it. Just garish and outlandish. And if there's something on a bike that he could add, he would do it. But Scott was real fun loving, so he brought people in with this kind of uncanny spirit just to enjoy it, and he really did. And he was ruthless when he raced. He was tough. If he was there, he knew how to race well, and I think he scared everyone initially because he could run fast, and then we kind of caught him, and that was a good thing for all of us, I guess. Scott Molina was just a workhorse. He's real matter of fact. You'd finish a race, and he would, he won a lot of the shorter races for sure, and he of course won Ironman one year. But he was a no frills guy, really the opposite of Tinley. I'm just going to go out there and go as hard as I can. Oh, you beat me today. Let's have a beer. And he had Scott really had no kind of hard feelings or a vendetta against anyone. And I kind of felt that Mark and Scott Tinley always had to beat me in Kona. That was kind of one of the driving screws that was in the back of their head. But Scott Molina he was just so nonchalant afterwards, and he has a really calm demeanor. We had dinner here. He was in town about 3 months ago, or 2 months ago. Yeah, that was fun.
Well, where is he now? Do you know where he is?
Yeah, he's in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's married to Erin Baker, who is. Erin scared the pants off all of us. We go out for a workout with her, and we just said, man, I hope she's not on. She was so bloody strong. We got on the bike.
Where will you be in 5 years? That's my last question.
Yeah, that's a good question, Gil. Where will I be? Well, I'm sure.
Because honestly, when you will not be able to bike anymore or run anymore, or when you would not want to be outside by the pool line.
Yeah.
I mean, I would still Zoom with you for advices on how to race Ironman.
Well, I don't think I think my advice is only going to grow and nurture over time. So I always feel if you're not learning, then you're complacent. It's the same thing with an athlete. If you're not changing your routine in some way, you become complacent.
Right.
So I always feel like, learning is the key to life, so expand your mind. So that, hopefully I'll be wiser in 5 years. I need to be wiser just about business, because I have not been very wise in that department. I'm still, the funny, odd thing, maybe it's odd to other people. And my close friends and family know this. For example, today, the weather was beautiful. I had a little more time today. I had this holiday, and I got back, and I just said, I went with my boys. We went to 2 towns in southern Colorado. It turned to winter, and we had, 8 inches of snow, or we went up to 11,000 feet, and it was way below zero. It was fun. It was great. And, we went to the gym and we worked out. It was always like a prerequisite. Well, those guys like to do it, my 2 boys. So, I know I'm going to do that. I still work out hard, even though my heart limits me. It drives me mad. And it's not because my mind doesn't say do it. And my kids go, why are you trying to kill yourself? And I said, just because
I've been doing it all my life.
Yeah, it's in my toenails. I just, it's still a lot of people that, a lot of world champions just say my time is up. I don't get mad about it, other than the fact, like, if a cyclist goes by me quickly, and I think, oh, that guy's not going to last. He's just got a big ego. I'm going to track him. And I did today. I told Drew, I went out for a 38-minute run. It wasn't much. And then I rode about 42K, and this guy passed me right at the outset, kind of on the steep little grade, and takes me a while to get going. And I said, well, I'm just gonna kind of mark him, because in the old days I'd try to blow by him right away.
Yeah.
So I stayed back, and he knew I was there. So we went about 8 or 9 miles, and he turned off, and he looked back, and he knew I was there. And I said, moral victory for me. But I guess my point, Gail, there's probably never a time if I feel okay, and I can get away with a higher output on the bike because I can go into lower gear and I can stand up, but I don't have that top end. The depth. I got hit by a car real bad, or the SUV in 2009, and I had a pulmonary embolism and whacked that finger and had all sorts, shattered my scapula and a few other things. That caused my lung function to go haywire, and then I had this heart stuff. So of the three, I'm better on the bike. The swim and the run, pretty dismal. But so the bike, I always see people out there and I think, I think I can catch that person by such and such, and I'll think I can get them another 2 miles. I can catch that person. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think, oh, well, I didn't close the gap at all, or they pulled it.
It's not big. And I'm also saying because you have Hawaii behind you, you're not nostalgic.
No, not. It's funny. People.
I mean, not in a negative way.
No, I mean, I think the nostalgia that people have is a reminder that I have with folks like you, and not saying this in derogatory ways. People ask about races and so on, and I look at the, I look at the history. I think
you're a legend, man. Of course.
I'm just the oldest one now.
with my heart and high and dry. I'll do what it takes to make you believe.